I got my first 1-star review on my book, The Microlock Standards. But there's something very interesting about this 1-star review. And I really want to share with y'all why it makes it so ironic. Let's get into it. Hi, I'm Jessica, founder of Microlock Mastery and coiner of Microlocks. Yes, the term Microlocks, out of Brooklyn, New York in 2009.
Hi, this is Jessica Marshall of Naturally Beautiful Hair Care and official Microlock brand. I hold the trademark on the instruction of Microlocks. I've been using the term since about 2008 to describe my small micro interwoven locks that were not started under the Sisterlock brand.
I created Microlocks as an innovative and enhanced approach to small locks. And before that, it was Sisterlocks. But what I was noticing, well, first of all, never was affiliated with Sisterlocks, never was a past consultant, never took their training. I didn't have any deprogramming to do. I didn't have any allegiance, didn't have any contracts. I was a totally free agent, and I also do not have technical Sisterlocks in my hair. I don't have the tool that's been used. I don't have their parting system. And so my hair actually has the innovative approaches that I then continue to develop upon when I was coining Microlocks. Number one, the first reason why is because I wanted people to know that there is an origin, right? There is an origin to this. Microlocks were patterned after the innovation that was used in my own hair. So you are looking at the actual inspiration for having Microlocks as its own branding. Okay, so I went down to Manhattan. I started the trademark process. There were standards that were put in place. The standards that were put in place from that start of that trademark process in 2009 are the standards that are fully developed in this book. This book actually includes a lot of trade secrets, a lot of secrets and information that I only have in my paid programs, but I wanted to put this information out. First, let's just look at this review really quick, okay? Microlock can be started by braids, 2-strand twist, or by interlocking long as it locks. So the first thing that came to my mind is that she doesn't know the origin. I've been absent for some time off YouTube, off social media to be a single mother and deal with life, right? And so when I came back, I saw that people took the baton and ran with it. And to the point where they were saying, there's all these ways to start, all these ways to start it. And many of those ways are the ways that were problematic, that did not have what's necessary for a lock to sustain on this size and also withstand the maintenance techniques. So when people were saying, there's 5 ways, there's all these ways, I was just like, they were largely unaware that there was a process in the coining of that word that was used to talk about these particular set of qualities that were market tested and enhanced methods. So they were filling in gaps of problems. Well, a lot of the methods that people were started to incorporate or assign with Microlocks were actually very problematic and made a lot more problems. And it took away from my original intention of this being an innovative enhancement. Y'all probably have saw me on the panel getting a mic snatched out my hand by Joanne Cornwell, who said that Microlocks were bootleg.
I have Dr. Joanne Cornwell, the great creator of Sisterlocks. All know about those, right? Yes. We also have our sister Jessica Marshall. She is the one and only founder of Natural Beautiful Hair Care. Okay, Jessica, why don't you tell us a little bit how you got started and everything?
Yes.
Were you a home-based business?
Yes, okay, because I've already been emotional about Sister Cornwell. So, she was a bootleg sister. She was a bootleg sister. Bootleg.
Well, I don't know who she's been speaking to about Microlocks, because the person that actually coined and founded Microlocks is she was talking to. And I can best attest to why I created Microlocks in the first place. And now hindsight's 2020. I had a lot I could say. Now, I would have said to her, why do you have 5,000 rotations? Why is your tool damaging? Why is the sizing so damn small so that they're fragile? And the reason why I came up with the terminology and the new branding of Microlocks is to address all of your issues. And you didn't know how to do reattachment in Sister Locks. Didn't know there was no such thing as extensions in any formal way. So I introduced that to the market, and I can go on and on and on. Also being the first published strictly Microlocks, I was branding Microlocks is its own thing. And that was something that I wanted to be associated with high quality. Because for years I fought and slayed these dragons of you're inferior to Sister Locks, when in fact my entire business began and thrived off of fixing and addressing issues with Sister Locks. So first and foremost, when people are disconnected from the origin, then they tend to go into the territories of doing things that continue to take away from the original concept of it being an option that was going to be beautiful and strong and really and innovative. So that's the first thing. The second reason why I wrote this book was to capture those original standards. If there's anyone that has gone back all the way back into, to some of my original videos,
Jessica Marshall of Naturally Beautiful Hair Care, and I'm going to answer some common questions that I get in regards to small locks, micro-sized interwoven locks, which can include your sister locks, your nappy locks, your intricate locks, your interlocks. These are locks. I'm specifically addressing the small size locks that are the size of the locks that you see on my head, or smaller.
Or ever see me at trade shows. We're talking way back in 2010, 2011. I have never wavered or been inconsistent in my message. My message has been always the same about quality, techniques. And again, I started out with my messaging really addressing the problems that I was seeing prevalent in Sister Locks first. Now that things have expanded into a lot of misinformation, disconnected, people who maybe the information just they just lack the information, the proper information. That is why this book is written. So quite ironic that my first and hopefully only 1-star review would be on telling me about those same methods that I discuss in length in the book. So if you were to get this book, you can actually go to sections that talk about starting with braids, that talk about some of the problems that could happen starting with 2-strand twists, and why how those methods evolve are not ideal for the qualities that we need to have them really strong on this size or really consistent, to be not damaging, to have this really, really refined, strong locks. That is what the purpose of this book is. And so I found that to be quite ironic and very telling, that I'm not sure if that this person has really read the entire book. I don't know what this person's hairstyle is, if they have the style or not, but it's just a prime example of why I wrote this book. There's so much evidence and proof that these techniques are not ideal, and you can have an outlier. Yes, you can have somebody, or you may see. You have to also be discerning on what you see, but you may think you see someone having a smooth process or having a certain type of process when you're not in their hair. You're not seeing the discrepancies. You're not seeing the repair work that's being done when someone starts in those other ways. To rate a book by a professional who has paved this way and laid these standards and been doing this work and innovating in every facet of this field, and then for her to tell me how I intended to start Microlocks that I coined. Because we're dealing with such a permanent style that evolves so much over time, we cannot just look at something for a few months and say, oh, it works. You can't even look at something for a couple of years sometimes. Long term, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. How does that? Because hair has to grow and hair evolves. And so I would be interested to see this person's track record in order to rate my book the way they did and tried to school me on something that I created and been doing in market testing. I put a lot of energy and time. How disheartening and discouraging it is to see how emotional some people get, where they would want to take down, where they would want to rank something low that has actually helped so many people. I know for a fact that my information from the early days to now has been so inspirational. It's helped other people start their channels. It has helped other people find abundance and prosperity. It's helped other people find success in their own hair. It's inspired people. I mean, it's inspired people so much that they actually try to duplicate several times my information and my programming. So, whether it's done out of love or done out of sneakiness, it still remains the fact that this information has been very helpful for a lot of people, whether they share it or not. I've literally seen people transform their hair and their results from free information that I've given over these years. And I put a lot of energy and effort into this because it's ingrained in me. It's a part of my story. It's a part of my life. These skills have carried me through some of the darkest times of my life. I've worked really hard against odds that some people can't even imagine. And some of you can see it today. You can see, you have eyes, you can see. And it's very confusing for a lot of people. And I'm confused too. I think also maybe I'm not so much confused as when I go my mental health hat. It's just kind of the nature of our people. And unfortunately, we have some really unresolved emotional pain, and we love to throw it at people. To state something as if it were a fact for someone who actually created that and ranked their book 1 star is what, like one of my team members said, that they just shows that they're a hater. I hate to use that word. You notice I don't really ever say that. Although everybody can say I have hate. I'm a grown woman. I'm a therapist. I'm a mom. I've been through a lot. I'm a healer. And a whole spiritual side of me. I'm going to probably make another channel for it. So I don't use words like that. I do get passionate. I do get disappointed a lot. Because some things I'm just like, what? We need people who are going to speak up like me or you. We need people to give good, credible information out here that's going to help people get their best. We don't need any more people that are just going to take money. We don't need people that are just going to say whatever for likes or follows. We don't need any of that. We need more people that are going to be like, I don't care about that. I want y'all to, if this information is going to be extremely helpful for you, and I want to give it to you, and I love when you show appreciation, but I'm doing this out of the goodness of my heart because it's like my mission. So I'm not ever, and I have never changed my message. I've always said the same things in regards to the microlocks that I've paved the way for others, that I created for y'all. And I'm not going to ever be inconsistent with my information. You're always going to be able to depend on me to get the very best that you can get. Have the very best experiences. Have the most prosperous businesses. And that is why I wrote this book. That is why I started Microlock Mastery Training Certification. That is why I infused wellness and professionalism and ethics as we continue to expand into what is our best year yet. I am extremely happy for that. I am so happy for that. And every time little things like this happen, I have to get reminded of how much we've grown, how much of an impact Look at Microlocks. That's my baby. And whether I get credit or not, look, it's amazing. Oh, I'm so extremely happy for the people that actually show appreciation. You will be blessed. Blessed beyond comprehension. You won't even understand it. Just know you are. Oh, for the people that are in our network and the people finding so much success with Microlock Mastery. The people that we are training to open up their own locations throughout the U.S. The people who won scholarships and who are about to win the 2024 scholarship, whoever you are out there. I appreciate you. The people who stand up for me and or us, our program, my words, my mission, original Microlock standards, whoever speaks up for this and advocating for this information that are going to give people such great quality in my presence or my absence. I thank you. And I always let that overshadow. I think I could probably write a book on how to have emotional fortitude. I call it mental fortitude. To have this strength to keep going despite things like this. Despite anything. I don't even give it power. It's so funny people say like, oh, something, I don't even know what's being said about me because guess what? They don't say it to my face. Never has anybody told me, tagged me in it, nothing. I think there was like some little petty conversations or something, but I don't hear what other people may or may not be said about me. And I think I'm just so protected. I am so protected that I just see the love. I see the love and I appreciate the love. And again, we have already hit our best year by mid-October. It's amazing. So that quiet success is worth it. And if you have any questions or comments or issues with the book, with anything, content information, you can always come say it to me. Don't need to leave a 1-star review for that. And it just kind of shows that you need to probably research a little bit more. You need to know a little bit more information, and God bless you if you want to get all those methods in your hair. I just will tell you, if you're seeking to have some even and consistent or strength, or keep your ends from being big knots and all the things that I can show you in these pictures, there's a way to do that. There's a way to have really good high quality hair. I'm gonna tell you, if you want fullness, you're getting your hair healthy and strong is gonna give you that natural fullness. You don't need to make a lumpy, bumpy locks and then do the root skin. It's not going to, unless you want traditional size locks. You don't always have to get micro. Micro is its own world. So you want to do that well. If you want it to have the strength and the qualities that I think would make it a gorgeous option. You don't want to kind of play around with that when you're going small. So I'm back. I'm back with a little bit more things that I wanted to add in regards to the comment about microlocks can be started, 2-strand twist braids, interlocks, as long as they lock. And so, well, if I left my hair alone, it would lock. Matted hair is locks. Does that make it a micro lock? Does that make it the formulation necessary for it to be strong on a professional level? Or does that just make a haphazard combination of things that happen and hair just matted together and it happened to be small on some areas? Because if you look at freeform locks, you're going to see all different sizes, especially ones that are minimally to not disturbed at all. You'll tend to see sometimes, really skinny one, or one hanging from a big one that's skinny, and it'll tend to break off. It'll tend to be maybe weak in some areas. So just because something can lock doesn't mean that it falls into the category of really high quality refined micro locks. And if someone doesn't have the information or a full package of information to say how they should be started on a professional level, when people speak that way, that's why I know that they're removed from a solid foundation of education to understand the lock-in process and all its complexities and all its nuances, all the different things about locks in general. And then when you get on a smaller scale and there's specific things that need to be done to keep the strength, to keep the uniformity, to keep it being able to be locked with the type of tool that you intend to use, with the type of method that you intend to use. There's so much that go into what I coin microlocks. So I wanted to say, just because some hair can lock doesn't make it automatically fit into a category that requires certain levels, certain standards for it to look and behave the way it needs to from the very beginning. So not the same methods that are used to start traditional larger locks using a base of more hair are not going to translate 100% into the micro realm. They cannot. You cannot do a comb coil this small and expect it to last and be strong going on year 17 with little to no issue, and lock uniform and lock in a cylindrical barrel way. To our friend that said that, comment. I don't know if you understand how standards are formed, how theories are formed for hair care professionals, how things are formed for any field. And a part of the problem that I know is because of my inability to really secure and lock down early on my intention with that word and branding it the way that I did and putting it into the market. Because it hadn't been widely known, there's been absence, and then there hasn't been enough information on my part. There has been misconception that those other methods and those other things have been tried and tested in the marketplace accurately to fall into a category under the level of quality of that I originally intended for microlocks. They have not had that longevity on a professional level. So yeah, someone wants to just be okay with just locked hair and with any method. They're not really concerned about how strong is it going to last? How is it going to evolve and look? Will it look like a lock? Will it behave like a lock? Is the tool that I'm going to use be adequate for it? Is the process of maintenance going to be adequate for this? Is it going to be the most ideal way for me to start this? And is it going to be something where it will maintain its micro size? And in that case, that means that there need to be standards and there needed to be a solid foundation of education that had been tried and tested in the marketplace for a substantial amount of time. And that is everything behind my book and behind the standards that I've introduced into the market and I've been utilizing now for almost 2 decades. So if you're going to say a micro lock and you're just using the general term and you're getting information from people who are not the source of the information, they have created their own understanding. Some people are very inaccurate. Some people do not have the knowledge or on this realm of locking to understand, nor the experience, nor the market testing, nor the proven results of that market testing to show that is not a viable method, and that's why it is not promoted. But there's so many receipts that I can show, so many stories I can show, and many others can, about why those methods are not ideal. So if you're going to rate the person who's founded and created a technique that has been market tested and put a lot of energy into using a certain quality and level of market testing in my approach, and even coming up with something that I'm going to promote through my business, I utilize a lot of my own knowledge in statistics, my own knowledge in how to get a adequate sample size and how to do proper testing before you introduce something into the market. I take a lot of that from my Columbia University training for my own profession, right? So as a LMSW, as a licensed master's level social worker who's has training in research and understanding what is needed to actually have viable results, and also my experience as an educator in Columbia University, teaching and supporting classes and supporting curriculum and supporting and understanding what you need, what you can actually teach on versus what is theory that is not proven, what is conjecture, what is just a guess, versus something that we go and actually put into a curriculum and create a whole training system on. I know the difference between, based on my experience as faculty at Columbia University, as a teaching assistant, and my other positions teaching at an Ivy League level, I definitely understand the importance of having solid, credible curriculum that is going to teach on the points to produce outcomes in those people who are taking that course or class, so that they can go out and replicate and utilize this information and continue to provide the consistency in outcomes. That is something that I'm very well versed on. I carry that to my business and Naturally Beautiful Hair Care as a licensed social worker who's been trained. I have 2 degrees in social work, and I have a research background. I have a background in managing data, and have a background in education and academia on the graduate and undergraduate level. So there's definitely, and I've also directed and managed programs where a lot of data needed to be shown and proven and accounted for funders, for various things. So I don't just pop out with, hey, this is what we're doing. I've actually laid the groundwork, and this book is intended to lay the groundwork of information, credible quality information. So when someone may not know it, that's not a reason for you to necessarily rank something 1 star. It actually is really a bizarre paradox, I guess, in sense of irony, and that the very thing that I speak about in the book is something that you would say, no, you're good. And for someone to tell me that is why you have no. Like, I refuse to hear any sound approach. I refuse to hear your role in this industry. I refuse to believe that you could be talking about having long-term microlocks and recovering and doing things that are preventive and restorative. Not me, not the person who had hair damage before I got my locks, especially around my edges. Not me, who never had long hair. Not me, who has my locks about to be 17 years as of January 2025. Not me, who actually coined the terminology microlocks after the innovative approaches I would use on my own hair to restore and rehab and prevent issues. So I know that this person doesn't know, and so I probably will ease up and going a little hard. I made this video to inform that person, if it's you watching, to inform you, as well as anyone else who may not have had this information or be confused. Don't be confused. This information is coming from the horse's mouth. I'm a horse. I don't like that. I don't like saying it, and then I'm like, am I a horse? but you know what I mean, right? So I had to add that in there. I just had to add my 2 cents in, okay? Many people, professionals and clients alike, can attest to the plethora of problems that they have encountered or can encounter with a lot of the methods that person has said. And if you want more information about that, I cover it a lot in different videos on this channel. Again, I cover it in the book. I also have some free resources and trainings. If you want to sign up for a free webinar, you can right here. Sign up for this free webinar before it's gone. And you'll sign up, take it as early as today if you like, and really goes into a lot of these standards and why they're important to know and what things to avoid. Okay, I go into it. It's free. So if you want to take this training, it's free. Additionally, another resource is our free Facebook group, and I will be doing a free mega live training in this Facebook group. So if you want to, you should get in well before then so that you know what time and how to get your materials and how to join us, all the different ways that you can participate in this free training. So just join here at the link below. But yeah, it's definitely looking very haterish. People will see, if they aren't already seeing, people will see the results. And I think it'll sizzle out. Unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of people that have had experiences that they wish they didn't have, that they wish that they could have got a better quality experience. And so this is why I speak. And other people who have been through repairing and fixing these issues are speaking, whether people want to hear it at that time or not. And it's okay to not be 100% into the lock process, but to be open-minded and understanding what the process entails. That's why I also try to tell people about the locking stages that your hair may potentially go through. And disclaimer, those locking stages are geared towards our interwoven lock technique. And so it will be different for braids and twists, which is why I don't recommend it. It might be a whole different process. Maybe somebody else will speak on that, but I don't think that's the ideal method. So I do the locking stages on the ideal method because it'll take you through a nice seamless process. Hopefully that you'll start to notice from month 3 to 6 to a year to 2 to 3, because you're still locking progressively, going through different stages. Even at the 15, almost 16-year mark, you go through different stages. So if you can anticipate that possibly I might experience this. And I think it's good with technology, has been helpful if it's used in that way. Where it becomes confusing and potentially work against the results is where, y'all, let me tell you the 7 ways to start micro lock. And they're telling you ways that'll go against the foundation for this side. I've seen it. So many people now doing it. I'm just like, I really hope that people use a discerning eye or really hear a variety of experiences. Don't get confused by flashiness, likes, and views, because there's a lot of things that people want to hear. So they'll click. I want to hear how you can do that because I want to do that too. But it doesn't mean that that information is going to be ultimately helpful for the long-term results. Okay, so thank y'all so much for tuning in. And thank you, vets, because I've made this video in honor of you and your 1 star to tell me how microlocks should be done, what they are, and not what I created them to be, but what you think they are. Thank you for educating me on my creation. I appreciate that. You have a blessed day.